Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rick, and today I wanted to share with you how I make fixed blade knives, including the process, the key tools, and some tips along the way. Before we jump in, here's some fixed blade knives I've made. Big Booyah, some beautiful daggers, hunting knives, cleavers, choppers, tomahawks, some skinners, and this 4-foot rapier that I made on the Forged in Fire show on the History Channel. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so here's my typical process. There's 8 steps from design to heat treating to building the handle. We're going to go through each of these, and let's get started with knife design. When I design a knife, there are a couple considerations shown below. For this particular knife, the intended use is hunting. It has a drop point blade profile. We're going to form the cutting edge using a hollow grind approach. It'll have a full open tang, and we'll use wood with a 2-pin construction. The next step is to think about what steel to use. There are lots of found treasures out there. I have them myself, and I've made quite a few blades with them, and it's been a lot of fun. But these materials are usually mystery metals, and they require a lot of heat and hammer at the forge just to get them into a usable shape. So as an alternative, one thing to consider is purchasing new. For all of my retail blades, I buy new from the New Jersey Steel Baron in New Jersey, and they have all sorts of choices. And in this case, this is a 1084 high carbon steel. Here's a tip. I use spray adhesive to mount the knife design onto the steel, and then I coat it with 2 coats of clear gloss, and that helps protect the paper templates, throughout the process up through heat treat. Okay, now comes the cutting of the steel profiles, and I use a portable metal bandsaw. There's lots of ways of cutting steel and cutting out the profile, but I find this one to be the easiest. The portable metal bandsaw, it's easy to control. It's got a good speed, no sparks, no stinks in the shop, so it's a total win. And so here are the profiles cut out, and now we take and finish them up at the 2x72-inch belt grinder. Next up is drilling. Drilling holes with precision is important for knife making. The tolerances can be, very tight, into the 100ths of an inch. Shown here is my drilling station. The drill press is the key tool. Other key tools are shown here. A good digital caliber, straight edge. It's good to have good punches and a center drill. I use cobalt drill bits. Reamers are important. And then the countersinks. Here was a challenging drilling project. We needed to put in 4 pins, 3 different sizes of pins, 7 layers, and then a total of 28 holes drilled. So the tolerance was very tight, and it was complicated. The one thing that helped was drilling all the inside holes wider to give some wiggle room at the glue up. Okay, here with the drill press, drilling the pinholes in our hunting knives we're making. And now that we're done with that, we're ready for heat treating. Okay, so here we are at the Booyah Forge, where we're going to be doing the heat treating of the knives. We'll use my 2-burner propane forge. Once up to heat, we'll put the knives in, and we'll heat those knives to a non-magnetic condition, or 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we'll quench them in warm canola oil. Next, once done with that, we temper them, bring back some of the hardness, and we do that in the oven at 425 for about an hour. Next up is the file test to make sure the hardness is where it needs to be. I use these files, and then I also have confirmed my process and results with a pro. In this case, Pete's Heat Treating. They do a nice job. So I send out the blades, and they'll actually test them, and then I'll compare. Now that the heat treat is over, it's now time to start creating the cutting edges. And we'll do that at the 2x72-inch belt grinder, and we'll be using a hollow ground approach. The hollow ground approach is terrific for creating a very thin, slicey edge. And it's also good for lightening the blade a bit, and it also looks pretty cool. I do my hollow grinding here using a jig. Jigs are important. They certainly help a great deal in creating professional results. Now that our hollow grinds are completed, the next step is to do the final sharpening. And we'll do that at the 2x72-inch belt grinder with a new special jig. This is the flat grind setup using the Vivor jig and 220 grit. And then we finish up the final sharpening at the razor sharp wheels, which are great. Those are MDF wheels. I purchased this kit and it works great. Okay, so for the next step is creating the handles, and it's one of my favorite. Part of it is selecting the materials, and there's no shortage of choices. I prefer wood. Here's an example of a Booyah Burl wood from Morocco. Outstanding. The Asian Satinwood Burl I like very much. And then, of course, the Booyah Burl wood. Templates I use, and it's helped me visualize what the handle is going to actually look like. The other option is to create segmented handles. So 2 different types of wood. The handle is separated by some form of liner, and in this case brass and G10, and it makes for a beautiful handle. When all put together, when all completed. Another thing you can do is create a visual story with your knife handle. You know, in this case, the wood is the beach, the blue and white liners is the ocean, and the mosaic pin is the great white shark. For the hunting knives we're building, I chose English oak burl from Southport, England. My friend Laz Harrop sent this over to me a few years ago. It's beautiful. And then cast epoxy resin, which is also a beautiful handle. Next step is the handle glue up. My tip is practice assembly before you start, especially where you have multiple liners as well. It can get complex, and you don't want to screw up with when you're in the middle of epoxying everything up. Here we are, we got the glue up. And this is what we end up with, and it's ready for final shaping. We shape the handles with the Oscilating Spindle sander. I found that to be very helpful in the shop, getting into all the contours and sculpting the handle. Another key tool is the wood bandsaw I use in the shop for all of my wood processing, whether it's ripping, cross-cutting, or shaping the wood handles after glue up. Okay, the final part of the process is to finish the handles. And for wood handles, I usually use True Oil. It's a linseed-based oil. It's used for gunstock finishing. Comes out beautiful. And we'll use this for the English oak burl knife. And then for the other knife, we're going to use a clear acrylic enamel to make that cast resin pop. So here is, after 4 finishes, here's the True Oil on the English oak burl. You can see the liners that we added. Here is the final knife with its leather sheath, and the other. I think together they make beautiful knives, very sharp, should work real well. Okay, my friends, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing, liking, or adding a comment. I always enjoy hearing your comments. Thanks again. Take care.